Welcome back, runners. We've just had a huge new look at some new Marathon thanks to today's State of Play via Sony and PlayStation, revealing some extreme lore implications as a part of the new launch gameplay trailer, and more importantly, we finally have a date and details on the open weekend that'll be free for all players ahead of launch. So in today's video, we'll be covering everything we've learnt from that, diving deep into the lore implications from the trailer, and covering some extra information brought up with the collab stream with the Burnt Peanut. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. To start things off, we should discuss the upcoming free weekend. As a part of the launch gameplay trailer, we're provided with the dates 26th of February until the 2nd of March, giving us 5 whole days of free access over the weekend commencing the week before Marathon's actual March 5th release date, or as Bungie have dubbed it, the Server Slam. This Server Slam will not require you to have purchased any version of Marathon and will be 100% free to any player that wants to try it. This is huge because up until now we have assumed that it would only get 2 or 3 days, at most, to test and play the game, with the date left up entirely to anyone's best guess. So not only does this massive time frame allow everyone to really sink their teeth in, but also feels like the game is releasing a week earlier than intended. Such a long time frame should really be instilling you with a greater sense of confidence in the game too, because if Bungie thinks that by letting everyone play for 5 whole days will be enough to captivate the audience enough to buy it, then you should feel some degree of confidence too. You're probably then also wondering what content will actually be present in this Server Slam. Bungie has confirmed it will take place on 2 of the base maps, being Dire Marsh and Perimeter, without the competitive or marathon spaces to avoid a flood of free players into endgame content, which to be honest seems completely reasonable. Within these maps, you'll be clear to loot all of the gear they have to offer, play 5 of the 6 runner shells, excluding only Thief, and experience a large portion of the gameplay loop under what Bungie has described as a new player introduction. It has also been confirmed that no progress you make during the free period will be saved or carried over to the main game, preventing anyone from getting an artificial lead, but you will be able to unlock permanent rewards including an emblem, player banner, loot rewards that will carry into the full release. This then only reinforces the feeling and sentiment that this is essentially just a soft launch and interactive demo ahead of the full release to garner hype. I'm so glad that Bungie is this confident in their title and transparent, because it's exactly the kind of press this game needs right now after the very rocky 12 months that it has had in the press. Ahead of the free weekend launch, I will also be putting out a full guide on everything you need to know for it, so for those that are new, or even returning players, you are going to want to tune in for that one. Due to the nature of the very late date announcement, I do understand that many of you will unfortunately not be able to play until the launch day itself due to other commitments. So I will add here that over the entire free weekend I will be streaming on my Twitch channel. So if any of you wanted to consume as much Marathon content as possible, or just felt like coming to hang out, make sure to follow me over at Lorkess, link also in the description. And for those of you that will be around and playing, make sure to join the community Discord, The Bloom, to help you find squads to play with if you have any questions that need answering, or even just the chance to play with me over that period when I'm not playing with my personal friends. For the remainder of today's video, we'll now be covering everything else that we have learnt today. So if you had any further questions surrounding the Server Slam, make sure to ask them down in the comments, but from here on out we won't be talking about it any further. Before we do go into anything deeper, however, it is worth pointing out that as a part of the exclusive collaboration with Sony, Bungie has announced some charms that will be exclusive to PS5 players, featuring imagery from Helldivers, Ghost of Yotei, and Death Stranding 2. I am going to come out hard out the gate right here now though. I don't like the precedent that is being set by having these other charms from other universes allowed in the game this early, but so long as you don't have full-on skin collaborations, then I guess it is okay. Regardless though, these small charms will be a nice little addition for those of you that are on PlayStation, especially those that are fans of these franchises. Now, shifting our attention into the launch gameplay trailer. This is a big one because in addition to the obvious gameplay additions, we got a glimpse of some cutscene content, huge lore teasers, and insight into what the story might hold for us, and some other very vague footage. The trailer itself opens to a voiceover from Joy, the colony AI for New Cascadia, or as some of you better know it, the ill-fated colony on Tau Ceti that we spend a large portion of our time looting from their remains. This voiceover starts in a relatively calm tone before slowly degrading into more of an acceptance of sorrow, as footage and other voiceovers play from the colony in what is implied to be a glimpse of what actually took down the Marathon ship. The best way for me to properly show this so you understand is just to show a brief clip of what I'm talking about.
So small among the stars. Breathe softly. Do not worry. Peace is upon you. And I am here to walk with you into its embrace.
Mayday! 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 This is General Dalek Reed of the new Cascadia colony on Tau Ceti 4. Whoever's listening. Whoever, whatever's out there, we need anything. Weapons, supplies, a way out, a way back. Mayday, mayday. This is Dad agreed. Tao said here. I feel like I'm praying. We've had to do things to survive. Things I never would have. We're monsters. We're all monsters.
As you would have just heard, the general of the colony ship sounds incredibly distressed, describing himself and the remainder of the colony as becoming monsters and doing monstrous things. Underneath the voiceover is backed by short clips of unseen cutscenes, albeit very chopped up and nothing more than a tease into what has taken place in this universe, but these are still massive implications and huge step forwards. Because up until now, for the most part, every little bit of lore outside of the obvious has been shown through either audio files, text excerpts, or very, very small bits of information. By showing us clips of these cutscenes, the implication is there that these massive detailed cutscenes will flesh out the world, and it should be a green flag, a huge green flag, to anyone familiar with Bungie's work. We had all kind of speculated for quite some time that they would do something like this, as it would make sense in a Bungie game, but seeing proof of it here just settles that. I would assume that a lot of these lore-based cutscenes would have to be uploaded to some extent on drives that are either found in runs or viewed after the fact. There is absolutely no place for a cutscene to take place whilst you are fighting among several other runners. But the concept of literally finding found footage like it's some SCP level backstory is the perfect way to go about it in this genre. The entire prospect of the game is that we are diving into this abandoned world to pull a profit for the factions above us, but our curiosity still remains despite that. Using info we find on runs to decipher what really happened makes me so much more excited. It really builds the world that we're in. Obviously, I could be way off the mark with this one, as what I'm saying is almost entirely speculative, so feel free to correct me if there is any other information surrounding this, but it is shaping up to be what Bungie's approach is here. If this is correct and the interest is there, I will also go into a deeper dive on this topic and speculation surrounding the footage we see in this, but for now I am just going to leave it at this and move on. This brings us to the final point of news from today, if you can really call it that, which was from the livestream that was hosted with the Burnt Peanut that followed the showcase immediately after its conclusion. And how did the Peanut hold up with this game, you may ask? Well, he certainly tried. Ish. It's quite obvious from the get-go that shooters like this are quite out of his own comfort zone. As a part of the stream, the Marathon game director Joe Ziegler also joined the Peanut over several multi-hour sponsored stream to try and show him the ropes and draw more effort and attention to the game, away from the art creator's space. Only time will tell if this was actually a success, but the gameplay didn't do the game any favours. The Peanut struggled with basic systems, apparently didn't realise his character had any abilities he could use, and he just kind of looked lost. I am, however, going to come out on a whim here and say I don't think this is a reflection of the game itself, but rather a reflection of the Peanut and his inability to read through basic systems. Shoot me, go ahead, it's a hot take, but it didn't look like it was a problem with the game, but rather just his inability to comprehend how to play a game. From this showcase, we did get to see some of the new systems in place, however. Two of the big ones were the public footage of how proximity chat can work, and the keycard mechanic. As you may expect, prox chat is, well, it's prox chat. It functions as it does in any other game that has it, with players mostly just discussing how they're going to kill each other rather than actually cooperating, especially with how competitive of a game this is inherently. Here is such an example of the Peanut using the proximity chat to be nice and friendly with his opponent and discuss friendly plans.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, come get some! Yeah! Yeah! Your keys are mine, fool! Your keys are mine! Yeah! Gotcha.
As just mentioned, the keycard mechanic was also shown off. The keycard system was used to access vaults containing some of the better loot in the game, at the trade-off of putting you in close quarters with heavily armed units, as well as many other players also trying to fight over said loot. You're probably all very much aware, but the reason the Burnt Peanut was chosen for this stream is because he is by far the biggest streamer in this space right now. So you can understand why Bungie may want to bring him in, but given how poor his own individual gameplay was, and how much of a hive mind the Twitch chat can be, there are concerns that this may have been more of a negative than a positive effect on the game. Once again, as I've said a million times, that being said, only time will tell, and the Service Slam weekend will be the true test on what the public thinks, once of course they've actually had their own hands on it, rather than watching other people's random gameplay. If you did want to read further into what is included in the Service Slam event, or more on any of the information said today, I will link Bungie's press release information surrounding it in the description for those who wish to go and read it separately. Down there will also be links for both the mentioned Discord server and the Twitch channels to help you engage with the community or watch me live, with the subscribe button also coming in very handy if you never want to miss a guide or video on either Marathon or Soulframe. I'm very close to 1,000 subs, so it would be immensely appreciated. That just about does it anyway for today, runners. Just a quick summary of all the new information we've had dropped on us, just to get it out there in a more digestible form. As always, you've all been incredible. I've been Lorkess. Have a good one. See ya.